Wealth isn't just about doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently for a long time. Skipping a book today won't make you broke. Overspending today won't bankrupt you tomorrow. But string together enough of those days and suddenly you've built a life you never intended to build. The same is true in reverse. Reading one page won't make you wealthy. Saving $10 won't buy you freedom. But compound those actions repeated daily, and life changes in ways you cannot imagine right now. So today, let's talk about the 7 daily habits that quietly but powerfully build wealth over time. The kind of habits that change not just your bank account, but your thinking, your confidence, and eventually your legacy. When people think of wealth, they often think of abundance, plenty of money, plenty of time, plenty of opportunities. But let me share a little secret that most people miss. Wealth doesn't start with abundance, it starts with scarcity. It starts when you're backed into a corner, when you've got limited time, limited resources, and limited knowledge. That's when creativity is born. Scarcity has a way of waking us up. It sharpens the mind, focuses the energy, and drives us to find solutions we wouldn't otherwise see. The problem with too much comfort is that it makes people lazy thinkers. But the gift of scarcity? It forces innovation. I remember when I started out in my own journey, I didn't have much. My pockets were empty, but my mind was open. That's a good trade, you know. Because the moment you realize you don't have much, you have 2 choices. Complain about it or get creative with it. And the wealthy, the truly wealthy, not just in money but in life, are the ones who chose creativity over complaint. They ask better questions when times are lean. Instead of saying, "Why don't I have more?" they ask, "How can I use what I have to create more?" That one shift in mindset makes all the difference. One of the greatest lessons I ever learned was from a mentor who told me, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." And part of getting better is learning to do more with less. When you have fewer resources, you're forced to develop the skill of resourcefulness. And that skill is worth more than money because it stays with you no matter how much money you eventually earn. Money can come and go, but the ability to create, to solve problems, to innovate, that's what keeps wealth flowing toward you year after year. Think of an entrepreneur starting with nothing but an idea and a few $100s. They don't have the luxury of wasting time or money, so they get smart about how they market, how they serve, how they build relationships. They create partnerships instead of trying to own everything. They negotiate better deals because they have to. Scarcity sharpens the pencil, so to speak. It makes you calculate more carefully, think more clearly, and act more intentionally. And over time, these small acts of resourcefulness compound into real success. I've seen this in every field. The writer with no money to publish their book learns marketing skills. The musician with no record deal learns how to build an audience online. The small business owner with no advertising budget learns how to network better than anyone else. Scarcity forces growth. It forces learning. It turns people into problem solvers, and the marketplace always rewards problem solvers. And here's another truth. Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to a person is too much, too soon. When you give someone too much money without the wisdom to manage it, they usually lose it. That's why lottery winners often go broke within a few years. They skip the scarcity phase, the phase that teaches you how to think creatively about money, how to protect it, how to multiply it, how to stretch it. Without that phase, money slips through their fingers because they never learned how to hold on to it. So, how do you practice this? You start where you are with what you have. You don't wait for conditions to be perfect. You don't say, once I get more money, I'll start saving. You say, I'll save from what I have now, even if it's small. You don't wait for the ideal time to invest in your learning. You read the books now. You listen to the audios now. You pick up the phone and call someone who's ahead of you now. When you work with what's in front of you, you build the muscles that will carry you when you have more. Some of my most creative ideas came when I had the least. When the budget was tight, I learned to negotiate better. When the clock was ticking, I learned to prioritize smarter. When I didn't know something, I learned to ask questions faster. Scarcity is a gift if you let it be. It pushes you beyond what you thought you could do, and it unlocks ideas that abundance alone would never reveal. So let me leave you with this thought. Don't curse your limitations. Use them. When you have less, become more. When you're limited, get creative. That's how small beginnings turn into big futures. There's a simple truth that too few people truly grasp. Knowledge compounds faster than money. While money can be made, lost, and made again, the knowledge you gain sticks with you for a lifetime, building on itself in ways that multiply your ability to create wealth. Formal education will get you through a job, but self-education, that's where the real fortune begins. You see, the marketplace doesn't just reward effort or time. It rewards those who continuously learn, adapt, and outthink the competition. Think about this. Every dollar you invest in yourself through learning is like planting a seed in rich soil. Over time, it grows roots, branches, and eventually bears fruit. The more you read, listen, and apply, the more ideas you have to generate income, the more strategies you uncover to protect your wealth, and the more confidence you build to take calculated risks. I remember when I first started, my income was limited, but my appetite for learning was unlimited. I made a decision early on, no matter what, I would dedicate time each day to absorb new knowledge that could help me grow. Now you might think, well, I don't have time, but that's a choice. Even just 30 minutes a day focused on something that stretches your mind, whether it's reading about finance, listening to a mentor on tape, or reflecting on what you've learned makes a massive difference over months and years. This is daily rent you pay to live in the house of wealth. Skip a few days and it feels like you're losing ground. Commit consistently, and you build momentum that carries you through challenges. The wealthy don't learn because they have to, they learn because they love to. Learning becomes a habit, a ritual, a part of their identity. It sharpens their ability to see opportunities where others see obstacles. It gives them the confidence to act when others hesitate. And most importantly, it puts them miles ahead of the crowd because while most people stop learning after school, the rich know education never ends. I've seen this truth play out time and again. When markets shift, the person who understands the trends, who reads the signs, who keeps updating their skills, is the one who benefits. When technology changes how business is done, those who learn fastest lead the pack. And when life throws curveballs, the prepared mind adapts and finds solutions. There's a story I often share about a young man who wanted to build wealth but had no capital. He couldn't afford to buy real estate or stocks, but he did have a library card and access to free knowledge. He spent every spare moment reading about business, marketing, and investment strategies. Years later, he owned multiple businesses and properties. His wealth was built on the foundation of knowledge, not just money. Knowledge doesn't just help you make money, it also protects your money. Many people make the mistake of thinking they need to be lucky or have special talents to succeed financially. The truth is, they often just lack the right knowledge. Understanding how money works, how to manage debt, how to invest wisely, that comes from ongoing learning. And the more you learn, the better your decisions, and the fewer mistakes you make. So how do you make this practical? Commit to a daily learning routine. Choose what you want to master, whether it's investing, entrepreneurship, or personal development, and find resources that feed your mind. It could be books, podcasts, seminars, or conversations with mentors. But it must be consistent. It must be intentional. Your wealth isn't an accident. It's a result of what you feed your mind daily. Remember, growth is not an event, it's a process. Every page you read, every lesson you absorb, every insight you write down is a brick in the foundation of your future wealth. You're not just learning for today, you're learning for the compounding power of tomorrow. The moment you stop learning is the moment you start falling behind. So, decide right now that you will outlearn your competition every single day, because when knowledge compounds, money follows. Wealth isn't just about having a fat bank account or the latest gadgets. The real purpose of money is freedom. It's about creating choices in your life. The freedom to decide how you spend your time, where you live, who you spend your days with, and how you make an impact. I've often said that if your money doesn't buy you freedom, then what's the point of having it? It's easy to get caught up in the race of earning and spending, thinking that comfort is the ultimate goal, but true wealth is about buying back your most precious asset, time. When I first started out, I worked hard to make more money, but I quickly realized that earning more without a plan was like running on a treadmill going nowhere. You can have all the income in the world, but if every dollar disappears paying bills or buying things that don't add value, you haven't really gained freedom. You've just added complexity. The rich understand this well. They see every dollar not just as income, but as a tool to free themselves from the daily grind. So how do you turn your income into freedom? First, you have to shift your mindset from earn to spend to earn to create options. Every dollar that comes in should have a purpose, not just to cover today's expenses, but to build a foundation for tomorrow's freedom. This means using your extra income strategically. One of the best uses of extra income is to eliminate debt. Debt is a thief. It steals your freedom by binding you to payments, worries, and limited choices. Pay it off as aggressively as possible, and you clear the path to financial independence. Once you've tackled debt, start directing your money toward investments that produce income. This might be stocks, rental properties, or a business that can generate cash flow without your constant involvement. The goal is to create passive income streams money that works for you while you sleep, travel, or spend time with loved ones. I remember when I first started investing, it wasn't about getting rich quick, but about buying back small slices of my time bit by bit. Each dividend check or rental payment was like a paycheck without punching a clock. Saving is another critical piece of the puzzle. Every dollar you save is a piece of freedom purchased. It's not about being cheap or deprived. It's about making choices that align with your bigger vision. Think of your savings as your freedom fund money set aside to give you options to take risks or to weather unexpected storms without panic. There's also an important psychological shift that happens when you use income this way. Instead of feeling trapped by your job or your expenses, you start feeling empowered. You realize that your efforts today are not just paying bills, but investing in your future life of choice and opportunity. This mindset fuels motivation and discipline because you're not working for temporary pleasure, but for lasting freedom. I often hear people say, I just want enough money to relax, but true relaxation comes after you have freedom, not before. You can have money and still feel enslaved by the demands of earning it, but when your income streams free up your time, that's real wealth. To put this into practice, take a close look at your income and expenses. Identify where you can cut back without sacrificing your future. Use every extra dollar to pay down debt or invest. Build your passive income steadily, even if it starts small. The journey to freedom isn't a sprint. It's a series of smart decisions repeated over time. Remember, the paycheck that keeps you working paycheck to paycheck isn't the paycheck that buys freedom. Freedom comes when your money works harder than you do. When you master this, money starts chasing you, not the other way around. Wealth is never built by sitting safely on the sidelines. The illusion of safety is often the greatest enemy of progress. If you want to grow financially, you must understand this fundamental truth. No significant wealth is ever created in total safety. Growth requires courage, a willingness to face uncertainty, and the discipline to take smart risks, not reckless gambles, but calculated moves based on knowledge and preparation. Many people confuse risk with gambling, and so they avoid it altogether. But avoiding risk means avoiding opportunity. The wealthy don't seek to escape risk, they learn to manage it wisely. They study, prepare, and position themselves so that their risks have a higher chance of reward. This is not about chasing wild dreams or quick riches. It's about stepping out with a plan. Early in my own life, I learned the hard way what it meant to avoid risk. I stayed in a safe, comfortable job longer than I should have, fearing failure. But later, when I decided to step into entrepreneurship and personal development, I realized that the biggest risk was never trying at all. Taking the first step even if uncertain, was the bravest and most necessary action I could make toward wealth. Managing risk starts with education. Before you invest your time, money, or energy into anything, study it carefully. Learn the market, the business, the opportunity. Read books, listen to experts, and understand the possible outcomes. Ignorance is the true danger, not risk itself. With knowledge, you can make informed decisions that tilt the odds in your favor. Diversification is another essential strategy. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread your efforts and investments across different areas so that if one falters, others can support your growth. Wealth built on a single source is fragile, but wealth built across multiple channels has resilience. Equally important is the principle of never risking more than you can afford to lose. This isn't about playing it safe forever. It's about protecting your foundation so you can stay in the game longer. When you limit your downside, you preserve your ability to rebound and grow. I recall many times when I took smaller calculated risks, which gave me the confidence to take bigger steps later on. Risk without control is gambling. Risk with control is investment. Smart wealth builders don't let emotions drive their decisions. They rely on logic and preparation. When fear or excitement threatens to push you into rash decisions, pause, step back, and evaluate carefully. This disciplined mindset is the hallmark of those who grow wealth steadily. Taking risks with courage also means being willing to fail and learn. Every failure is a lesson, a stepping stone toward success. It's not the failure itself that defines you, but how you respond to it. The wealthy expect setbacks and use them to sharpen their skills and strategies. So, embrace risk as part of your wealth journey. Let it be a teacher, not a terror. Step out with wisdom, courage, and preparation. In doing so, you'll find that risk, managed well, becomes a powerful lever to lift you higher. The goal is not to avoid risk, but to take smart, calculated risks. And in that balance lies the path to real financial growth. We live in an age flooded with choices, and every choice you make takes a piece of your mental energy. Decision fatigue is real. It's the subtle thief that steals your clarity and focus as the day wears on. When your mind is cluttered with too many small decisions, your ability to make wise, impactful choices diminishes. The wealthy understand this better than most because they know that the quality of your decisions determines the quality of your life and wealth. The philosophy is simple. Simplify to multiply. When you reduce mental clutter, you create space to focus on the decisions that truly matter. It's like clearing your desk. Before tackling a big project, you remove distractions so you can concentrate deeply. I've witnessed this principle play out countless times in my own life and in the lives of those who succeed financially. They don't waste brain power deciding what shirt to wear or what to eat for breakfast. Those decisions are made automatically. That leaves them free to devote their best thinking to business strategies, investment moves, or growth opportunities. How do you put this into practice? Start with automating the small stuff. Choose your wardrobe for the week in advance or stick to simple meals. Set up automatic transfers for your savings and investments so those happen without daily attention. Plan your routine so that many of your daily choices don't require fresh decisions. This builds a mental reservoir you can draw from when it counts. The wealthy guard their mental energy fiercely. It's why they create habits and systems that make life predictable in low-impact areas, freeing them to be creative and decisive in high-impact moments. For example, automating investments isn't just convenient. It's a strategic move to ensure consistent growth without emotional interference. When tax season or a market shift comes, they have the bandwidth to make smart adjustments rather than panicking. Simplifying doesn't mean being rigid or boring. It means being deliberate with your mental resources. It means knowing that every decision, big or small, carries a cost, and you want to invest that cost wisely. The truth is, when you conserve your mental energy, you multiply your effectiveness in wealth-building activities. I remember a time early in my career when I tried to juggle too many decisions daily. I'd waste time agonizing over minor things and then feel drained when bigger opportunities arose. Over time, I learned to streamline my life and automate what I could. That simple change transformed how I approached business and investing, and it paved the way for more consistent, clear-headed success. You can start right now. Look at your day and identify what small decisions you make repeatedly. Can you batch them, automate them, or set defaults? Free yourself from decision overload and watch your ability to seize wealth-building opportunities increase dramatically. Simplify your choices so you can multiply your results. That's how you protect your most valuable resource, your mental clarity, and use it to build lasting wealth. The secret is clear. Simplify the small decisions so you can focus on the big ones that multiply your financial success. There's a quiet danger that lurks in financial success, one that often trips up even those who earn a substantial income. It's called lifestyle inflation, the subtle, almost invisible habit of increasing your spending as your income grows. This is the trap that swallows fortunes and keeps many high earners broke despite their paychecks swelling month after month. The philosophy behind true wealth is simple but profound. Stay rich, don't just look rich. When your income rises, it's natural to want to enjoy more comforts, better clothes, bigger cars, fancier dinners. But the problem is that spending often rises faster than income. And before you know it, all the extra money is gone. You're no richer than before. You just have a more expensive lifestyle to support. The wealthy avoid this trap not by denying themselves, but by living below their means and letting their wealth work for them. I've seen this principle in my own journey and among many successful people I've known. The real difference between those who build lasting wealth and those who don't isn't always how much they make, it's what they do with it. Wealthy people upgrade their investments first. They put their extra dollars into assets that generate income, and only then do they allow themselves to upgrade luxuries. This way, their money pays for their lifestyle, not the other way around. Practically, this means making conscious choices every day. When you get a raise, don't immediately buy that flashy new gadget or expensive car. Instead, ask yourself, can I use this money to buy more asset stocks, real estate, or a business that will pay me back? Can I increase my savings rate so that my wealth compounds faster? Keep your expenses in check, even as your earnings grow, and your financial foundation will strengthen. There's a powerful mindset shift here too. It's about valuing financial freedom over fleeting appearances. When you resist lifestyle inflation, you're choosing to build real security freedom from worry, choice, and opportunity rather than just impressing others with what you own. This isn't about being frugal for its own sake. It's about being wise. It's about ensuring that your labor doesn't just buy a lifestyle, but creates a legacy. I recall early in my career, many who earned more fell into the trap of spending more and never getting ahead. The lesson I learned was to focus on building wealth quietly, steadily, without the noise of flashy expenditures. When I saw my investments grow, that satisfaction outlasted the temporary thrill of a new purchase. This practice isn't easy. It requires discipline and a vision beyond the immediate gratification that money can buy. But the payoff is enormous. By controlling lifestyle inflation, you ensure that your financial progress is real and lasting. You give yourself the freedom to make choices based on opportunity, not necessity. So, as your income grows, guard your spending like a guardian watches over treasure. Live below your means, invest the difference, and let your assets pay for your luxuries, not your labor. That's how you stay rich, not just look rich. The truth is simple. True wealth grows quietly beneath the surface, fueled by disciplined choices that outlast momentary desires. When you exchange your time for money, there's a limit to how much you can earn. The clock only has so many hours, and your energy only lasts so long. That's why so many people find themselves trapped in the endless cycle of working harder just to keep up. But the secret to true financial freedom lies in turning your income into ownership, moving from trading hours to creating leverage that earns for you even when you sleep. The philosophy here is clear. Work once, earn twice. This is the principle that transforms wealth. building from a paycheck into a legacy. When you own assets, whether stocks, real estate, intellectual property, or shares in a business, you're no longer tied to the clock. These assets work for you, creating income streams that continue long after you've done the initial labor. I've lived through this realization myself. Early in my career, I worked many hours in seminars, teaching and sharing ideas. But I quickly saw the power in creating products and systems that could generate income without requiring me to be physically present. This shift allowed me to multiply my efforts exponentially. The key is ownership. It's what separates the wealthy from those who stay stuck in the grind. Ownership is not always about buying a big business or fancy property overnight. It starts small. Maybe you invest a portion of your paycheck in stocks that pay dividends. Or perhaps you buy a small rental property that brings in monthly income. Even writing a book or creating a course turns your knowledge into a revenue-producing asset. These steps create leverage, allowing your money to grow while your time is freed. It's also about mindset. Viewing your income as a tool to buy ownership changes everything. Instead of spending every dollar you earn on consumption, direct part of it toward acquiring assets that generate cash flow. This is how you shift from labor to leverage. Every dollar invested in ownership multiplies your potential earnings. Ownership also carries responsibility and requires learning. You must understand what you're investing in and manage risks wisely. But the payoff is worth the effort. Over time, the income from your assets can surpass what you earn from your job, giving you freedom and options that no paycheck alone can provide. This approach aligns with the timeless wisdom that wealth is built by making your money work harder than you do. It's about planting seeds today that will grow into a harvest tomorrow. By owning a piece of something that produces income, you're creating a financial engine that keeps running long after the initial effort. So, don't just work for money. Make your money work for you. Use a portion of your earned income to buy ownership in things that pay you back. Turn your labor into leverage and begin the journey toward true financial freedom. Remember, working once and earning twice is not just a dream. It's a strategy, a way of thinking, and a path to lasting wealth. When it comes to building wealth, one of the greatest truths is this: success rarely comes from flashy, headline-grabbing moves. It comes from doing the boring things consistently. Wealthy people master the art of the mundane budgeting, saving, investing, and they do it day in and day out. It may not seem glamorous, but this steady, disciplined approach is what builds billionaires over time. You see, the world is full of excitement seekers. People chase the latest get-rich-quick schemes, hoping for a fast win. But the truth is, the rich don't chase excitement, they chase results. Results come from habits, not hunches. From a plan, not a whim. From discipline, not luck. Think about the power of automatic investments. This is a classic example of turning boring into brilliant. When you set up a system that pulls money from your paycheck and invests it without you having to think about it, you remove the chance for emotional spending or procrastination. You harness the power of compounding over time, and those small contributions grow into a substantial fortune. I remember when I first started on this path, the idea of regularly reviewing my net worth seemed tedious. It wasn't as thrilling as making a big sale or landing a new client. But those monthly check-ins became a compass guiding every decision. They showed me where I was growing and where I needed to adjust. That simple, consistent review kept me on track, even when the market or my mood tried to pull me off course. The boring moves like sticking to a budget tear, often where most people stumble. It's easy to overspend when there's no plan, when you don't know where every dollar is going. But when you have a budget, you control your money instead of it controlling you. It creates a foundation of financial discipline that supports every other wealth-building effort. There's no need to reinvent the wheel here. The wealthy build their fortune on time-tested principles. Spend less than you earn, save the difference, invest wisely, and repeat. It's not about luck, it's about persistence. The process is slow and it's easy to get impatient. But if you keep showing up every day, doing the small, boring tasks, the results will come. This also requires a mindset shift. Instead of seeking excitement in your finances, seek satisfaction in your progress. Celebrate the small wins each month you save more. Each quarter your investments grow. Each year your net worth increases. These quiet victories add up to extraordinary wealth. So, I urge you to embrace the boring. Automate your investments, budget diligently, and review your finances regularly. Resist the temptation to chase shiny objects or quick thrills. Instead, commit to the steady path of discipline and consistency. Remember, it's the boring money moves done consistently that build billionaires. This is where true wealth is born, not in the flashy, but in the faithful. When we talk about building wealth, most people focus on the upside, how much you can earn, how fast you can grow your assets, and how many opportunities you can seize. But here's a truth that many overlook. True wealth isn't just about chasing gains, it's equally about protecting what you've built. One big financial mistake, one unforeseen emergency, or one impulsive gamble can erase years, sometimes decades, of progress in the blink of an eye. I've seen it too many times, good people who worked hard, saved diligently, and invested wisely, only to have a sudden crisis knock them back to square one. Protecting the downside, guarding against financial ruin, is a critical pillar of wealth that too few appreciate until it's too late. The wealthy don't just build castles on the hill, they build moats around them. Think about it. Life is unpredictable. Emergencies come without warning: health issues, job loss, accidents. The wealthy prepare for these events with an emergency fund, a safety net that ensures you don't have to sell assets or go into debt when the unexpected happens. This fund isn't an indulgence, it's a necessity, a form of self-respect toward your future self. Insurance is another vital tool for defense. Whether it's health insurance, property insurance, or liability coverage, it shields you from catastrophic loss. Without insurance, one bad event can wipe out years of careful planning. It's not about fear, it's about wisdom. The wealthy understand that paying a small premium now can save you from devastation later. Then there's the investment side. It's tempting to chase the highest returns, but reckless investing without understanding the risks can lead to financial ruin. Wealthy individuals avoid risky investments they don't understand. They diversify their portfolio and make calculated, informed decisions. When I first began investing, I learned this lesson the hard way. A tempting hot tip nearly wiped out my savings because I didn't fully understand the risks. That experience taught me to respect my limits and seek knowledge before committing money. Defensive financial strategies are as important as offensive ones. You can have a brilliant investment plan, but if you ignore protecting your capital, you'll find yourself starting over again and again. The idea isn't to be overly cautious or paralyzed by fear. It's to be smart, intentional, and prepared. In your journey to wealth, think of defense as seriously as offense. Guard your savings with an emergency fund, protect your assets with insurance, and understand the risks before you invest. This balanced approach creates a fortress around your wealth, enabling you to grow with confidence, knowing that one misstep won't destroy everything you've built. Protecting the downside isn't just about money, it's about peace of mind, and that peace is a crucial part of true wealth. We often believe that wisdom in money matters comes only after we have wealth, that once the dollars start flowing, we'll know how to handle them wisely. But that's a dangerous illusion. The truth is, your financial habits and decisions begin long before the money arrives. Wealth isn't a matter of how much you have, it's about how you handle what you have, even when it's just a few dollars or none at all. I've met many people who dream of prosperity but delay learning how to manage money until they have it. The problem with that approach is simple. If you wait to get rich before developing discipline and sound decision-making, you'll likely never keep that wealth when it comes. The emotional rush of newfound income can cloud judgment, leading to impulsive spending and poor investments. Instead, I encourage you to practice your money decisions now, in advance. Imagine your first $1,000. How will you use it? Will you spend it all on wants, Or will you invest part of it in yourself or your future? Now think bigger. What will you do when your savings grow to $10,000 or $100,000? Pre-decide these moves today, before the pressure and excitement of having money distorts your thinking. By creating a clear plan and mindset around your money before it arrives, you build a mental framework that guides your choices. This removes the guesswork and emotion that often lead people astray. It's like rehearsing for a big game. You practice your plays so that when the moment comes, your actions are automatic and confident. Early in my own journey, I realized that wealth was more about behavior than numbers. I started imagining how I would handle increments of money long before I had them. This mental preparation shaped my habits and kept me on track. It's the discipline to make money decisions before you have money that sets the wealthy apart from the rest. So, don't wait for your bank account to grow before you get serious about how you'll handle it. Start now. Decide your money moves today, and when the funds come, you'll be ready to grow and protect your wealth with wisdom, not impulse. Plan your financial future before the dollars arrive. That's the secret to lasting prosperity. When it comes to building wealth, the biggest enemy isn't lack of opportunity or resources, it's complexity. I've seen many people start with high hopes, diving into dozens of investment options, juggling multiple financial strategies, or chasing every new get-rich-quick scheme. But complexity confuses the mind and paralyzes the will. It creates so much noise that the simple, powerful actions get lost. The truth is, wealth is rarely created by doing everything. It's created by doing a few things well. You see, simplicity is the secret to multiplying your progress. The wealthy understand this deeply. They don't chase 50 different strategies. They master a handful that truly matter. They focus on saving consistently, investing regularly, and learning daily. These core actions build momentum and compound over time. In my own experience, when I first started on my financial journey, I tried to do too much at once, reading countless books, attending numerous seminars, juggling multiple ideas. It was overwhelming, and frankly, it stalled my progress. What changed everything was when I chose to simplify. I picked 3 key habits. Set aside a portion of my income first, invest automatically without trying to time the market, and dedicate time every day to learning and self-improvement. By focusing on these basics, the rest fell into place naturally. Here's the practical part. Simplify your approach by identifying just 3 core wealth-building actions that suit your life and goals. Make saving automatic, so you don't have to think about it every month. Automate your investments, so they grow quietly in the background. Commit to daily learning, whether reading, listening to audios, or reflecting on your progress. Stick with these until they become effortless. The beauty of simplicity is that it frees your energy for consistent action. When you have fewer moving parts, you're more likely to follow through. When your system is clear, it builds confidence. Complexity creates doubt and hesitation. Simplicity breeds momentum and success. Remember, multiplying your wealth is not about complexity. It's about consistent, simple steps taken day after day. Simplify to multiply. That's how real progress is made. Wealth is often seen as a number, a goal to be reached, a balance in the bank, or a paycheck to hit. But the truth is, money is merely a reflection of something deeper, the person you become along the way. The real prize isn't the $1 million. It's the mindset, habits, and character that must be developed to earn that million. Without personal growth, financial growth is shallow and fleeting. Think about it this way. When I started my journey, the numbers were small. Yet, each dollar earned was a sign of my growth in discipline, patience, and strategic thinking. I wasn't just chasing a figure. I was transforming myself into someone capable of handling larger responsibilities and bigger wealth. This transformation is the true measure of progress. So, how do you focus on becoming, not just getting? Start by tracking your personal growth alongside your financial goals. Set aside time weekly to reflect on who you are becoming. Are you more disciplined this month? Are you managing emotions better? Are you making wiser decisions? Write these observations down as progress notes. This habit keeps you honest with yourself and highlights growth that numbers alone cannot show. Remember, wealth is a byproduct of your evolution. Focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts and manages wealth. In the end, it's not just about what you get, it's about who you become in the process. We often hear about managing time as if hours and minutes alone decide our success. But the truth is, time without energy is just empty space. It's not simply about how many hours you have. It's about how much vitality you bring to those hours. Without physical and mental energy, the smartest financial plans and strategies fall flat. They need fuel your vitality to come alive and produce results. Think of your body and mind as the engine powering your wealth-building machine. If you neglect it, the engine sputters and progress slows. I remember early in my career when I worked long hours but ignored my health. I felt exhausted and unfocused. It was only when I began prioritizing sleep, nourishing my body with good food, and moving daily that my productivity skyrocketed. Suddenly, tasks that seemed daunting became manageable, decisions became clearer, and my capacity to create wealth expanded. Managing energy starts with the basics. Get enough sleep so your mind resets and body recovers. Eat foods that fuel sustained energy rather than quick crashes. Exercise daily, not just for fitness, but for mental clarity and resilience. Guard your mornings fiercely, that's when your energy peaks. Use that time for your most important and demanding tasks, the ones that directly impact your financial growth. Energy management isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. You can't pour from an empty cup. When you invest in your vitality, you increase your ability to work smarter, think sharper, and act decisively. This is where true wealth begins, not in dollars alone, but in the strength and stamina that create and sustain it. Protect your energy as fiercely as you protect your money, and watch how your capacity to build wealth grows exponentially.